the lawsuit is asking this board to, basically admit or confirm that yes, people are supposed to speak, and they're also saying that they need to go back and revisit everything they've done basically since the board was set up, because people were not allowed to participate during that time.
It goes back to what we said in the original airing of that show, and yours truly and Deborah participated in that. I have listened to a few people on the sidelines of this, and you know what was reported to me, that when he was still an active judge, he could run his courtroom that way. He didn't have to listen to people that was sitting out in the seats watching the trial.
Right.
What the judge needs to understand is it's not his courtroom anymore. It's the taxpayer's room. It's the taxpayer's money. It's the taxpayer's
authority.
It has been given to him with the hopes that him, along with his board, will handle it in a proper manner. I am shocked by those comments, and actually, when we was at the city council meeting, the word arrogance came up often there, and I think that's the best way to describe it.
Mr. Donovan's comments kind of go to the heart of many of the problems that we've seen with these public-private agencies. I think a lot of these people believe because they're appointed that they somehow have the same privilege that private industry would have, even though they're running on government dollars. But somehow they think they've got that same privilege that private industry has, that they can pretty much do what they want, and they don't have to tell you about it, and they don't have to listen to you. And
right.
I think the city council, Pensacola City Council, sent him a message that otherwise was the case.
Well, there's no doubt. We all know what the law is here. I think there's maybe a tendency, a citizen at their house, they keep their checkbook private and their savings account private and all this. And there is a tendency to have privacy at your house. And I think sometimes, wrongly so, but sometimes it bleeds over in when the government says, hey, will you come be a volunteer on this board? And what all citizens need to know, it doesn't matter if you're on the dog catcher's board. Your meetings are public. You have to take notes. You have to let people know when there is a meeting, and you have to allow public comment.
Well, I think a lot of these people, I think they really don't understand that they work for the public.
I would have a tendency to agree with you on that.
We've had that experience here in Santa Rosa County, of course, for a number of years.
Yeah, we've been living the dream for 4 years at Team Santa Rosa. Well, Judge Collier, when you were a federal judge, you could decide who could speak. It's not your courtroom anymore. It's the courtroom of the people.
Well, and Sunshine Law says that the public have to be allowed participation, which is what the lawsuit's about.
Advertised and open meetings.
And the penalty, one of the penalties for that is that if it's found that Sunshine Law was broken, they have to go back and revisit everything they've done.
Every single item.
And you asked them a couple months ago, you asked them if they were worried about that.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, this falls under the category of if a tree falls in the forest and nobody's there, does it make any noise? Well, I think you'll get a big kick out of this clip. Listen to my question and listen to the response.
I do have a question. I would like to know, is this board concerned that all the business that has been conducted before, because of the potential sunshine, may all be erased? Does this board have a concern about that? Well, I'll take that as a no, that you don't have a concern. I think you should be concerned.
Well, Deborah, I just can't tell you how much I enjoyed that.
That was a long silence.
You
could have heard a pin drop.
I think I heard a termite working in the wall there. It was so quiet. And so, that's fine. You want to be all excited and be a part of a board, but they have an obligation that they have to follow.
Well, the Sunshine Law exists for a very good reason.
It does. It's to keep the government so that you know what they're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you've enjoyed the show. Every Saturday, 4:30 to 5, Mediacom Channel 27. We're also, all the shows will be on YouTube, so you can watch them at your leisure. They're in about 9-minute clips. And we hope you've enjoyed it. And once again, I'm Jerry Cooey.
I'm Deborah Nelson. Good night.
In the words of Sam Cooke, it's been a long time coming, but a change is going to come. I've been coming down to these meetings now for 2 years, trying to make sure that people with disabilities have input into this process. We have not. We were promised by Mr. Studer we would have a seat at the table. I don't see us sitting at the table. Not only have we not had a seat at the table, I've tried to have input into the design criteria, all to no avail. I've attempted to have input into the RFP that went to the master developers, all to no avail. However, had my rights and the rights of citizens been protected to have an open forum, it's possible that the design criteria would not look like what it does today. It's inaccessible for people with disabilities. This is the first time we have had a public forum in which to express our needs to have an accessible park. After Monday night, I went home and I researched extensively Florida and the Sunshine Law. I am not an expert in that area of the law. But it appears to me, in my legal opinion, for what it's worth, that this board has violated Florida and the Sunshine. And the consequences for violation of the Florida and the Sunshine are very severe. What I want from this point forward is inclusion of persons with disabilities on this board. In the RFP, it needs to be redone. And I want the site development plan to be revisited. And I want a park that is totally 100% accessible for people with disabilities. Thank you very much.
It's amazing the arrogance that has come out of this particular committee, especially by the leaders. Because I remember in that meeting, one of you said, we don't even want an appearance of evil or impropriety. And we don't have to come here and thank you that you're giving us an opportunity to speak. It's the law. And for a judge and a mayor, if anybody on earth should know the Sunshine Law, it should be Judge Conley. And for 2 years of meetings, not to have any public input. And then we're going to just keep on going forward as if we're going to wink at that. I don't think so. And so what if we have to go all the way back? Do you all get to sit here and reign over the process again? I don't think so. So, for the good of the people and the process, every one of you should do the right thing. In my opinion, it would be to resign, to walk away quietly as you all asked the other person to walk away, and leave the process to people who are willing to follow the law. Because, you know, when other people who are not in positions of power violate the law, we pounce on them. And I think now you all have violated the law. So what would be the right thing to do? Should we have to have a countywide referendum to remove you? Or should you do the right thing and resign? Thank you.